Johnny Somali is trying a new Discord defense, and it absolutely will not work. And we're going to tell you about that today on this Fast Facts video here on The Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney living in Asia, dedicated to ending the criminal careers of streamers like Johnny Somali and other nuisance streamers in Asia. So we've heard a lot of excuses from Johnny Somali, a lot of weak defenses from him or his team, which often, by the way, are the same people, as Johnny has a million sock puppet accounts and often he tells people to do things, they more often do them. But today's is probably one of the lamest, but I wanted to go ahead and debunk it because some other channels have brought this up and it just needs to be dismissed quickly for the absolute trash it is. So as a reminder, and of course, we have a PowerPoint where we're at in the process. This is, of course, the latest update. Right now, we're at the part of the cycle where typically Johnny would get away with it because there's no coverage. Of course, we are continuing the coverage, keeping the heat on him so he doesn't die. But right now, we are trying to cover this and make this continue to go viral, continue to trend so that the pressure is on Johnny and the attention stays on Johnny through his next upcoming trial in August, on August 13th of this year. So what we have now is a new defense. So his new defense, which has come out, is Discord made me do it. I'm not kidding. It's not the tequila. It's not the I was high. It was Discord made me do it. That's his big defense that Johnny thinks is going to get him out of jail for free. He thinks that's his escape card, and his minions are trying to argue this. Somebody who claims to have connections with Johnny, or possibly Johnny himself, we never know with these Discord personas, they're claiming that the Discord is the people and the group that created the list of statues to attack, and they were the ones that made him misbehave in South Korea, and therefore he's not guilty, right? He gets away. Well, no, of course, that's not true. First of all, Johnny Somali has already pled guilty to a number of charges. In fact, 4 out of the 7 charges he has already pled guilty to. So that doesn't matter whether his defense is one thing or another. It doesn't mitigate it at all. So for 4 out of the 7, that's really irrelevant. But there's further reasons why this doesn't matter, and of course, why this won't work. And I'm going to give you these 3 big reasons. I'm also going to give you a note at the end to note here. So first of all, reason number 1 why this Discord defense is not going to work is Somali is not charged for attacking the statues. So one of the big things in the defense is saying we come up with the list of statues and where they were and how to go see them and how to go find them. Well, what does it matter? None of the charges he's facing, none of them, 0, are for attacking the statue. They're for a lot of other things, but none of them are for attacking the statue. So the actions involving the Statue of Peace, while they are morally and ethically disgusting, while they are wrong on a principle level, they are not necessarily criminal. And that's one of the reasons why the Korean legislature wanted to change the law, and they are changing the law to make what he did criminal and to increase the penalties for that. But up until date, that's not a thing. In fact, what he's charged with, if you look over at the actual list here, and this is kind of the up-to-date list, he's charged with obstruction of business, Minor Crimes Act, and deepfakes. None of these are for the statues. They're for 7-Eleven. They're for harassing people with a rotting fish. What his language on the metro and bus, monkey noises and loud music on the bus. For the deepfakes of the male streamer Jungman and Bong Bong. Also for disrupting Lotte World and the rides at Lotte World. None of these are related to the Statue of Peace. So his constant trying to deflect to the statue doesn't work here at all for any of these charges he's facing. Next, the second reason is Discord or anyone else telling you to do something, no matter who it is, doesn't remove your intent. It doesn't remove that criminal intent. Remember, in the basic principle of some crimes, right? Some crimes, not all crimes, but some crimes require intent. So let's pretend this one does. And that's a pretend because, well, that's reason number 3. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Whether Ramsey came up with the plan or he went through a plan that others made does not remove his knowing commission of the crime. If anything, it aggravates the crime because it shows he knew exactly what he was doing beforehand and he had a map, a roadmap to go execute it. So if anything, it aggravates it. It certainly does not mitigate it. Other people telling you to do something or you copying what others have done does not mitigate the crime in any way. It doesn't make it less. It doesn't make you sentence less. I know that a lot of people try to deflect on this, but that's not how it works. So what I try to show here in this nice little map is whether it was Ramsey coming up with the idea, and Ramsey came up with the idea and he committed the crime, that in the legal system, in the way the law looks at this in Korea, based on all of my understanding of Korean law and also talking to Korean lawyers, people experienced with the system, it is exactly the same in this scenario as if Discord told him to do it and he did it. By the way, it would be the same if Ice Poseidon told him to do it. By the way, I don't think Ice Poseidon commanded him to do any of this, but Johnny always tries to blame Ice Poseidon. So let's pretend, in a magical pretend world, that Ice Poseidon, that Paul Danino was the one that directed all of it. He would still be on the hook. That doesn't get him legally off the hook. Same thing if Hank did it. If Hank was the one who was bossing him around, doesn't really matter. The only thing in the scenario with Hank is if Hank was the one directing it, Hank as a Korean, citizen, as someone in Korea, Hank could have some responsibility, some liability there. But in terms of Johnny's liability, it isn't a defense for him. It doesn't get him out of this crime at all whatsoever. He still committed the crime. The important thing is Johnny did the crime. This last part of the segment, Johnny did the crime. Johnny did the crime. It's the same thing in the eyes of the laws he's charged with. The last one is none of Johnny's crimes, none of them require criminal intent or premeditation. What they require is a yes or no to these questions. And they're really simple legal questions at issue. And the answer is yes or no. If the answer is yes, Johnny is guilty. If the answer is no, he is not guilty. The first one is, did Ramsey obstruct the normal business operations at Lotte World? I know I misspelled that. It should be did he obstruct, not did he obstruction. A little bit of scuff there for you guys. That's how we know we're doing this live or semi-live. Did he obstruct the normal operations? Yes or no? Yes, he did. The normal operations were stopped. The ride was stopped. Security was called. That's not normal. So the answer to that is yes, that's guilty. And then the last one is, did he publish a deepfake of Bong Bong and Youngman on stream? Did he show it? Yes or no? And it's a simple question. Yes or no, did he show it? Yes, he's guilty. That's it. There's no other question for the court. It's not, did Ramsey do this with hate in his heart that he came up with in the moment? No, that's not required. Did Ramsey, whether Ramsey had a plan for showing the deepfake or whether he just felt like showing it and showed it, it's still criminal. Either way, it's still criminal. So both of these, intent is not required. And once again, these are the ones that he's really contending the obstruction on the Lotte World account and the deepfakes. And once again, as a reminder, he's facing up to 12 years total for what he's got in front of him so far, as a little reminder. But it's not going to stop either one of these, or it's not going to mitigate it. I think a lot of people, and maybe his Discord, thinks this is going to mitigate it. This is going to put it in the minimum category. No, it won't. That's wishful thinking. It will not move it down at all whatsoever. The last thing I want to note, because this is really one thing I was kind of shaking my head at here. Some other people and channels and people are taking his fans seriously and taking members of his Discord seriously. I consider those even more worthless than comments from Ramsey and Hank, because at least with Ramsey and Hank, those can kind of be used against them, or specifically with Ramsey. Everything Ramsey says is used against him and can be turned over to the prosecutor. In fact, we already on the Somali conviction team have done that. By the way, if you want to support the team, Ko-Fi/Andrew Esquire, support the Somali conviction team. But beyond that, Ramsey uses many proxy accounts, many fake accounts. So it's very likely any information you're getting could be from one of his proxy accounts. If not, he's commanding these people to do it. He's in communication with these people. So I don't take anything they say seriously. So I really think it's funny when people take members of his Discord and fans at their word and at face value. I think they're absolutely worthless. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?